Hello and welcome to YNWE Transfer News, your ultimate source for all Liverpool FC transfer news. Our first news is this. Alexander Isak transfer news, Newcastle future analysed and Liverpool finances explained as striker explores options. Isak is frustrated that he was denied the opportunity last week when Liverpool made an informal approach. Ekatike, who was essentially meant to be his replacement at Newcastle, moved to Liverpool instead. From the outside looking in, that was another door closing for Isak. Eddie Howe said something that stuck out to me in his post-match press conference on Saturday after the friendly against Celtic. He said, "I am really aware it's a short career for a footballer. That to me is something that's likely been communicated to him by Isak or his representatives. I think Isak feels, having been at Newcastle for 3 years, scoring 62 goals and helping them win the Carabao Cup last year, he has done what he set out to achieve." Sponsored stories. Find out more personalized content here. Discovery feed. Alexander Isak transfer news. Newcastle striker tells club he wants to explore other options. Alexander Isak transfer news. Newcastle striker tells club he wants to explore other options. Sky Sports. Belgian GP Sprint. Max Verstappen holds off McLaren's to win Red Bull's first race since Christian Horner sacking. Belgian GP Sprint. Max Verstappen holds off McLaren's to win Red Bull's first race since Christian Horner sacking. Max Verstappen passed pole sitter Oscar Piastri on the first lap before holding on for victory. Red Bull recently sacked Christian Horner as team principal. Watch qualifying for the Belgian GP later on Saturday at 3 p.m, with the race on Sunday at 2 p.m. live on Sky Sports F1. Sky Sports. Ruben Amorim, Man United head coach, says Alejandro Garnacho, Antony, Jadon Sancho, Tyrell Malacia could have future at club. Ruben Amorim, Man United head coach, says Alejandro Garnacho, Antony, Jadon Sancho, Tyrell Malacia could have future at club. Sky Sports. Isak's development has been almost faster than the club's. I'm not saying he's outgrown Newcastle, but he's in a position where he is one of the best strikers in Europe playing for a team that doesn't really have the opportunity to win the Premier League, you would suggest. He is ambitious, wants to win trophies and feels he should be earning £250,000 to £300,000 per week. He's not earning that at Newcastle, and he knows the other top strikers in the Premier League are earning that money. I think he doesn't want to be denied the possibility of that earning potential. Are Liverpool really still interested in Isak? The fact that Liverpool made an approach last week suggests they were willing to pay a fee at least in the region of what Newcastle are looking for, which is around £150 million. That admiration hasn't just suddenly disappeared with the signing of Hugo Ekatike. Liverpool are happy with their strike force and their squad, but that doesn't mean their business is finished. This is a new summer for Arne Slot. It's the first time he's really attacked a transfer window since being appointed a year ago. He's had 12 months with the players, he understands the Premier League, he's a Premier League winner already, and he wants to make Liverpool even better, and that means signing the very best players they possibly can. Isak is certainly one of, if not the best, striker in the Premier League. Whether Liverpool decide they can fit both him and Ekatike into their plans remains to be seen, but it is certainly one to watch. Can Liverpool afford to sign Isak? Would sales need to be made? Quite simply, Liverpool can afford to do a deal for Isak because they are very sensibly and sustainably run by owners FSG, and they have been for a number of years. I spoke with an independent football finance expert who told me Liverpool could spend £500 million in this summer's transfer window and still be PSR compliant because they are so well run. In last summer's window, they only spent £12.5 million on Federico Chiesa. They also generated around £60 million in player sales. That means they've got a big wedge of cash in their pocket from last summer that was unspent, and that's helping them this summer. Their turnover was £614 million in their last set of accounts. It's going to be even more next time because of the commercial success, the football success, and the bonuses that are attached to a lot of those commercial packages that they've set up. Therefore, the income is going to go up too. In terms of player sales, Liverpool have generated more than £60 million already. The 4 players they've moved on this summer have either been academy players, who represent pure profit under PSR, or have been sold on for big profits. Then, if you add in the likes of Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez and Harvey Elliott, those 3 players alone could raise another £150 million. That would also create space in the forward line, potentially. When you take that into account, their net spend potentially starts looking quite healthy, on top of being a really well-run club. Does Isak have any other Premier League options? It looks unlikely. Arsenal were perhaps the only other club that could have truly rivaled Liverpool for Isak, but they decided to pursue Victor Gyökeres. Chelsea are not in the running for Isak. They've signed João Pedro and Liam Delap already this summer, and the club have complete faith in the options at their disposal up front. They think Isak is a great player, but he is not a Chelsea target. Manchester United are potentially looking for a striker this summer. However, the prices involved for such a deal rule them out immediately. The focus for United currently is on player sales after signing Matheus Cunha and Bryan Mbeumo. Isak is not a player that has been under consideration at United, and this latest development is not expected to change that. Could anyone afford Isak outside of the Premier League? Newcastle's asking price for Isak is £150 million, which eliminates all but a handful of clubs. Only the very top sides in Europe and some in Saudi Arabia could even contemplate such a deal with the figures involved. Barcelona and Real Madrid are the 2 clubs that usually come up in such conversations, but as it stands, there is no indication that either club are in for Isak. Barca are currently unable to register their new signings, so it is safe to rule them out entirely. Paris Saint-Germain certainly have the financial might, but again there is no suggestion the Champions League winners want to pursue a move for Isak, who would be directly competing for a starting spot with Ballon d'Or favorite Ousmane Dembélé. There has been talk of Saudi Pro League interest, but that is unlikely given Isak's aspirations to challenge for top trophies in Europe. What needs to happen for Isak to stay at Newcastle? He needs to be content. It sounds as though he's not content at the moment, given the fact he's asked to explore other opportunities. I think it's important to say he has not handed in a transfer request, but he's asked to explore other opportunities, which suggests to me that he's unsettled and he's been affected by the approach from Liverpool last week. Eddie Howe is a brilliant man-manager. He's going to have to rely on all his man-management experience to get Isak's head into the right place ahead of the new season if he is to stay at Newcastle. He is still a Newcastle player, we have to remember that. And if anyone is going to buy Isak, they're going to have to pay top dollar to get him. There was talk, and there has been for a long time, that Isak would open talks over a new contract at Newcastle. That hasn't materialized. I think there's a frustration there on his part that his contract hasn't been increased, that his pay hasn't gone up. I would suggest that the club might have to come to some kind of agreement with him if he was to stay, where he got a bit of a pay rise, and perhaps there was either a release clause put in that he could leave for a certain price next summer, or a gentleman's agreement, or something to placate him a little bit. Because without doubt, there's a frustration on his part that he feels that opportunities are passing him by. Will Wright is certain goalscorer, as Man City decision spoke volumes before Liverpool transfer. Liverpool looks to have secured one of the brightest young talents going in Will Wright, with the striker having already had a taste of what it will take to make it with the Premier League champion. The Reds have managed to steal the 17-year-old Salford City forward away from Arsenal after it seemed as though the Gunners would complete a deal for him. Liverpool had initially cooled its interest earlier this month, but has now returned for a deal understood to be worth an initial $266,000, with Wright now set to undergo a medical ahead of completing his move to Merseyside. Despite Arsenal's interest, Wright preferred to remain in the northwest of the UK, and was impressed by Liverpool's pitch to him. The teenager will become part of Liverpool's U21s team when he completes his move, with former Wales manager Rob Page having taken over the reins following Barry Lutta's departure earlier in the summer. Wright will arrive on Merseyside with a growing reputation, having looked to have been set for a bigger role at Salford in the new season. He made 3 first-team appearances for the League Two side last season, including a cameo against Manchester City in the FA Cup. Although that game didn't go according to plan for Salford, they lost 8-0 at the Etihad that day. Wright's appearance was an indicator of just how highly he has been rated. "He's top," Salford boss Carl Robinson said after Wright scored in a pre-season friendly 8 against FC United of Manchester earlier this month. "He's a local lad and one we are incredibly proud of, and he showed all of his qualities today. I don't want to say too much about Will, he's still incredibly young and he's got so much to learn, but he's certainly a goal scorer, no doubt about that, we see it every single day. That's why we brought him on against City away last year, because we see so much potential in him." Pep Guardiola may have also seen that potential, with City having been linked with a move for Wright before Liverpool and Arsenal took the lead for his signature. Although the Gunners are said to have offered more money, Wright's desire to stay local and the attraction of the project at Anfield drew him toward Liverpool, leading to Salford accepting the lower bid. Wright will now aim to continue his progression with the Reds Academy, and demonstrate that potential which saw him get his opportunity at the Etihad last season. Thank you for watching. Like and comment. Subscribe.